You may believe in magic, but this act is literally beyond belief. Tom Mullica is a magician, not a musician, but a magician. And he's also something of a madman. So with your card tricks, you get madcap humor and strange jokes and weird innuendo. Show me one of those strange card tricks, Tom.
Could you cipher what you just said so I know what to do? Innuendo. First of all, this is not an act.
Oh,
this is real. This is the closest to realism you're ever going to get. I am a musician. I'd like to open the program with a rendition. No, I'll do magic first, and then we'll get into the... Would you care to shuffle these before I begin?
Should I?
No. It's much easier this way, actually. You like miracles?
Love miracles.
Heal. You'll be better in a week or so.
Thank you, Tom.
Are we going to mention me having nothing up my sleeves?
If you like.
No. Just take any one of those out you'd like. Anyone you want. Not that one. The third. No, any one. But I'd appreciate it if you would. That's the top one. But don't let me see it.
I didn't, did I?
Where's the monitor? Okay, I got it. This is. I always start out with the easy stuff and then get into the biggies, you see. Did everyone see that? Now, this is my opening. Now, I don't want any studio laughter. This is a serious routine, please. I've played for the crowned heads of Europe. And last year, I'd like you to know that I took first place at a nationwide magicians convention. Unfortunately, the Atlanta police are telling me I have to bring it back this summer. But most of the things that I do, I wouldn't consider magic. I was talking to one of the technical people here before the show, and he was mentioning a magician friend of mine. And there are many different forms of magic. For an example, Doug Henning does his magic in the form of illusions. He works on a stage with animals and assistants. Some of his assistants are animals. And I do my magic in the form of, well, Houdini did magic in the form of escapes. He could escape from anything. Almost. He was married, you know. Did you know that he was married? And I do my magic in a different form. I basically just work off the cuff. Whatever comes to mind, I do.
Why? Why do you choose to work this way in a bar? You have your bar,
well, it doesn't work, first of all.
Why do you choose to do your magic behind a bar with people, maybe, how many people does your club sit?
About 4.
50 people, maybe you get
our seating capacity is 50.
Yeah.
And if the fire marshal is not listening, we usually pack in about 80.
I know, it's always packed. You do several shows a night.
It's one show, and then I just take a couple breaks.
I see. Why do you do your work that way? Why do you perform that way instead of like Blackstone on Broadway or Doug Henning?
Well, I don't have much equipment to carry. All of my equipment is at the bar, and I literally have to get dressed and just go out and it's ready. Blackstone would have to take a troop of people and a couple elephants and a camel and 6 or 8 ducks and about 30 assistants and pay all of these people just to stand there and make the show look pretty. Are they buying this?
I think they are.
Well, basically it's at a bar because the drinks are free.
Now, is your idea to keep it simple, your style of performing?
It's developed over the years. First of all, I became knowledgeable. I learned the tools of the trade, and then I found out that entertaining was what people wanted to see. For an example, the amazing Kreskin would have you pick a card from the deck, and he would stand there and go into a mental trance and almost faint and then tell you what your card is. Well, I found out I get much more reaction by pulling it out of my zipper.
You like to make people laugh?
Oh, yeah, I can do it many times. I enjoy it myself, as a matter of fact.
Show me another of your strange card tricks.
Another strange card trick. Now, I'm really going to show you a miracle. Now, tell the camera, look into the camera, and tell them that you swear that you do not know what I'm about to do.
I swear I do not know what this madman is about to do.
Don't take a card. Just think of any one of those cards.
Okay.
Have you got one in your bird? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I'm going to turn around and do a miracle. They always say don't turn your back to the audience, but I'm going to do this anyway. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, if this works, it'll be a miracle.
Miracle.
You see, I have eyes in the back of my head, but you can't see them because the hair blends in with the eyelashes here. I know exactly what they're doing. I think I've got it. Now, aren't you the only person in the world that knows the card?
I believe I am, yes.
What is it?
I'm supposed to tell you?
You can mail it in.
It's the 9 of diamonds.
The 9 of diamonds. Now, you know what this card tells me?
That you're wrong?
No, that's a 9, and
Yes.
it's the only other red 9 in the deck.
Yes.
Now, if we turn the whole deck over and spread the deck out, there is a card face down right here.
Yes.
And I would like you to turn that card over and show it to everyone, and that should be your card. The 6 of hearts. Well, that
6 of
matches my
hearts.
prediction, you see, but I forgot this was trick number 2, and that is in this pocket.
Aha.
This
the
only
9
works with
of
certain
diamonds.
people.
I see.
Fetish people.
Ah.
This will be cut, won't it?
Oh, of
Okay.
course.
Now, if there's anything else you'd like to ask me, you're more than welcome to, or I could just go on and do so. Do you mind if I smoke?
Oh, go right ahead.
Okay. Are there any other questions you have about the bar? Because many people, we don't advertise. And,
That's what I do want to ask you. Your philosophy of performing. You know, most people who've been in the business as long as you have been, 25 years, want a big audience. What I don't quite understand, sir, is why you're content to perform for, say, 80 people a night.
Would you like one?
No, thank you. I don't smoke.
I enjoy entertaining people who are interested in being entertained. I saw George Carlin interviewed on the Tomorrow Show once, and he made a statement about he enjoyed working for people who paid to see him rather than performing in Vegas or someplace like that, where the audience consists of people who are there to either sell a client on a deal or to eat a $12 steak, and they're throwing popcorn and they're not interested in the act. Now George Carlin works places like the Music Hall, the Fox Theater, places where people pay to see him. Well, because we don't advertise, the people who come in to see my show come in to see the show. They don't come in there to do anything else but see the show. And every now and then we have someone come in who doesn't know what the show is about, and they cause trouble or something, and we just immediately tell them not to let the door bang them in the back on the way out.
Well, I know you also say, only tell your friends about this place.
Yes. Did you know that, according to Emily Post, this is the only polite way to speak with a cigarette in your mouth?
No, I
Yeah.
didn't. I remember the first time I came into your club, I was brought there by a friend and was totally unprepared for things like this.
Did you come back?
Yes, I did.
Why?
Because I was made to laugh.
Well, laughter is a... laughter is something that I go for. I'm not saying that I prepare to do my act in a stone face, because I enjoy Red Skelton's philosophy of laughter and comedy. If you can't laugh at it yourself, very few other people will. I'm not saying that I crack up on everything that I do, but if I'm enjoying myself, my audience will. And I do enjoy what I'm doing every night.
Do you do things that other magicians simply don't do?
I did it. I caught it on TV. No, please. Oh, I can do it anytime I want.
Oh, I'm sure you can, but
Would you like to see me do it again?
Please.
I don't want to.
Oh. Other magicians don't do nutso things like that, do they?
Oh, no. Why should they?
I don't know.
We have magicians in Atlanta who have seen my show, and I'm trying to do a lot of effects that take practice. There are many magicians who work for a couple months and they buy a little magic kit or read a book, and then they think they can go out and charge so many amount of dollars to do a show. Well, the people who hire a professional are going to get their money's worth. When I was a kid, when I was starting in magic, did I ever tell you how I got started?
I didn't ask.
Oh, this is very interesting. I was with my mother one time. This is when McDonald's first opened in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.
You're from Wisconsin?
Oh, yeah. Did you ever notice that people who wear glasses scratch their eyes like that?
No.
And then when they're in bed at night and they're not wearing their glasses, they go like this? They never go, oh. They always do that. But,
Are you all right, Tom? The cameras are still rolling.
mm-hmm.
You were saying about your... Shall we get back to Wisconsin?
Oh, there's nothing there. Well, I was with my mother one night, and we saw this new chain restaurant, and it was called McDonald's, and
Yes.
they've gone very far since then. They're actually part of the Jerry Lewis Telethon now. And we went in there, and on the way home, it was raining just cats and dogs. There were poodles in the street, you could tell just by looking around. And my mother left the car. She went into this friend of her, she went into this house to pick up a friend, and it was raining, and I noticed we had a flat tire. So I opened the trunk, and I took the jack out, and I was jacking the car up, and all of a sudden, I was knee-deep in mud, and I heard this big puff of smoke in the rear of the car, and I looked back there, and this man was standing there. He had a white coat on with a big G on his pocket. And he had a staff, and there were 2 or 3 little sheep standing around there. And he looked at me and he said, "You're the one." And I said, "Well, what does that mean?" And he said, "I want you to go to Atlanta and perform miracles in Buckhead." Yes.
Yes.
And the part that sort of teed me off was he left and he wouldn't even help me change the tire. That I didn't.
Do you consider yourself a miracle man?
No. If I were, I wouldn't have this peg leg. This right leg is not, it isn't. And no, I'm not a miracle man. I just try and take things and put a twist on them.
Like what?
Like what?
Yeah.
Oh, like cigarette tricks. For an example, a manipulator, I don't know if the cameraman can get in on my hand here, but a manipulator is a very serious person. He would take a cigarette and do this and make the cigarette disappear and show both sides of his hand and then reproduce the cigarette. Now, that's all fine and dandy. But what I do is, that doesn't get a laugh.
No.
So what I do behind the bars, when the music is playing and everyone thinks I'm in a very serious, I nonchalantly, without speaking, ow! Now there's...
Your tricks do work, however.
Yes, they burn, too. You see that little red mark on my lip?
Yeah.
I got that last night. This is very dangerous.
The average magician shouldn't try to do it?
No, there was another magician who lived in America, and his name was Keith Clark, and he died about 2 years ago, and he was one of the foremost cigarette manipulators of the world. You mind?
No, go right ahead.
He did magic for many, many years, and like I said, he was an exponent with cigarette magic. And the only thing that I have heard is I talked to a friend of mine who's a magician who knew this Keith Clark well, and he told me the only danger of doing cigarette magic is someday I may lose my taste buds. And that's true, because a cigarette... Now, I'm going to show you, many people come in the bar and say, "How do you do that without burning yourself?" Well, I don't. It burns. Now, this is a brand new cigarette, and it's completely dry. When I put this cigarette in my mouth, the only part that will become wet with saliva will hopefully be from here on down. If this becomes wet up here, that means this contacted some form of the interior of my, and that does hurt.
Yes.
Now, for an example, this burn up here, you want to see the world's smallest butt?
Certainly.
Watch Fantasy Island. Now, this is a little... No, that one won't work. I've got more here. Oh, there's many different ways to do this. But now, if I took this little teeny butt right here, now this may not work because of all these lights. I'm not used to performing with this many lights, but we'll give it a shot. Oh. Now, if there's anyone viewing in today that may be interested in learning cigarette magic, and you're interested in performing this dangerous magic trick with a lip burning butt. Yes, indeed, it is burning the hell out of my lip. It really was.
Did you go from cigarette manipulation to this kind of strangeness on your own?
Tell me when the tobacco's gone, will you?
Did you go to this on your own, or did someone teach you to do this? How did this come about?
Well, it was a mistake one night. I took a cigarette and I just threw it at my face, hoping I would catch it, and if I did catch it, I would get a laugh. Well, I didn't catch it, and I still got a laugh. Well, I throw a cigarette at my mouth probably 100 times a night, 6 days a week for about 5 years, and about 8 out of 10 times I can catch it. If I don't catch it in my mouth, I more than likely will catch it in my hand on the downfall, which means I can try it again. Eventually, it's going to land in there. But it was just something I did one night, just to be funny.
Well, what about the rest of what you do?
Sometimes they don't hang there just right. You got to reposition your mouth.
Tom,
Yes.
what about the rest of what you do with cigarettes?
Oh, I do many things. I've learned to actually light 4 at a time.
Now, that is weird.
Humphrey Bogart had a double feature. A lot of people don't get that, but it's something.
Now, that is precisely the sort of thing I'm wondering about. How did you start doing that? Is it like someone who starts swallowing swords all of a sudden?
Mm-mm.
No. Tom.
That was good.
How did this become part of your act?
It's not an act.
It's not an act, it's real. I forgot. How many hours a night do you... Oh, I'm sorry, no questions while your mouth is full. I know you do this several hours a night. 4 hours a night.
I got time to answer a question.
I'm afraid to ask one.
Would you care for one?
No, thank you. It's very difficult to believe what we're seeing. You realize that? Now, I promised weird innuendo at the beginning of this, but I didn't know any way to prepare them for this sort of thing.
I'm the one who has to prepare for this sort of thing.
Can you imagine
And that's the nastiest remark I've ever heard.
Can you imagine my consternation when I first
You did?
first came into your club and saw you do this? I was absolutely appalled.
Just a minute.
Oh, certainly. It's our...
Fire! Oh.
I'm waiting.
Oh, only 2 more.
Please excuse me. It drains in my...
If another magician, mad person in the country does this, I'd like to know about it.
No.
Unique, I would call this. Wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
I realize it's impolite.
Now I can talk.
Yes.
Do you realize I don't have to buy toilet paper? When did you come in?
It certainly is impolite to ask a magician how he does things. Let me ask you why you do things.
That is a better question. Although I did answer it before. That's funny.
You do it simply because it's funny.
People laugh when they see that. I bought a video machine when the video craze first came out, and I watched that on videotape, and I couldn't believe it myself because I'd never seen anyone or myself do it. And it really shocked me, too. But it is true, I burned my mouth. There is no way you can hold 10 or 12 or 15 cigarettes in your mouth without burning yourself. I mean, it hurts.
Do you enjoy doing that?
No, but people pay $3 to see it.
But, Tom, that's just it. They pay only $3. Couldn't you be in Vegas or somewhere making a lot more than that?
No, then I would be back to George Carlin's state of entertaining people who don't want to be entertained. I'd be competing with slot machines and so forth. When people come to see my show, I know they're interested in it.
Is the cigarette sleight of hand, shall we call it, or sleight of mouth, your favorite part of your show?
Yeah, sleight of hand. I've been working with sleight of hand now for, what is today? Be about 3 weeks, Thursday. And I enjoy sleight of hand because it does take technical know-how. I mean, there's a difference between being gifted and knowing sleight of hand rather than just doing magic that works by itself. Like I said earlier, once I had the tools of the trade down, learning these sleights and so forth, then I put together my own routine. This napkin and cigarette routine, being seriously now, this cigarette napkin routine, you're sterile. This cigarette and napkin routine okay, cameraman, director, producer. It came about one night when I had an audience that was very, very difficult. They just were in a bad mood or something, and I couldn't get anyone to laugh, and I just started shoving napkins in my mouth. I'm good with my hands, aren't I?
Yes, you could be a surgeon.
Oh, yes.
Well, you do play to the house. You do.
Oh, yes,
you do
definitely.
play to whoever
If I have a
happens
bad
to.
audience, I just cut it short and take a break. I want people who are interested in seeing what I'm doing, and when they get tired of it, they usually, they leave.
You know, I have never been lucky enough to get a seat right in front of you.
Well, give me your name. I'll have you sit right up front.
I've never been able to participate in your tricks.
Look at this. I actually have a list of tricks I was going to do.
Well,
I have never worked with a list in my life. I come out here and do what comes to mind.
Let me participate in something with you. A card trick.
Just a minute. I'm trying to get these BBs in the holes.
Do you
Is
know?
your watch battery operated? Mine's dead, and I got a small set of jumper cables. I don't mean to interrupt your questions, but these things just come off the... Now, a lot of people say, is that man on drugs? No, he is not on drugs. My high every night comes at 8 o'clock when those people come in, and I see people standing outside and paying money to see me. It just blows me away. It really does.
You like talking to the audience, and actually, you enjoy audience participation.
I read Red Skelton's biography, and according to the biography, he did not become popular or really good until he started talking and conversing and letting the audience be part of the show.
Why do you think that is?
People like to be part of the show. Every now and then we're at the bar, I perform in the center area, and there's a seat to my right and a seat to my left, which we call the hot seats. It's just a term. At about 9 o'clock, we shoot about 3,000 volts of electric. No, it's just we call them the hot seats because those two ladies, excuse me, those two ladies, well, that's more polite than burping and then saying, excuse me. I gave you a chance to plug your ears. And I use those two women quite a bit, and they enjoy being part of the show. They enjoy picking cards. And if they don't, when they're seated, they're told that they're going to be part of the show, and we give them a little letter that basically explains what's about to happen. And if they don't want to participate, they can let someone else sit there.
I'm in one of your hot seats now.
You are? Oh. Looks like a hot box to me. You're sitting on those. They don't know that, what you're sitting on. See, she's about the size of Hervé Villechaize, and she's sitting on an Atlanta phone book. But we won't tell them because that's the show business.
This is the magic of television.
Yes, that's magic of television. Now, here's a trick. Not a trick, actually. This is something that I think is pretty unique. Just take any card out you'd like, and you can see the card before you pick it if you'd like. And show it to everybody in the world, Democrat, Republican, pedestrian. I understand this is all over the United States people are seeing this.
Oh, yes.
I should be nervous. There are people watching me all over. Well, we don't need all of the cards. We'll just use a few of these. Hey, Mom. I don't know if you're allowed to say that, but...
Is she in Wisconsin?
Yeah, no, she lives in California now.
Oh.
She lives in Alameda, the first house on the right-hand side, just when you're coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Now, did you show that to the
yes, I did.
people at home? Now, this is called a flip-flop shuffle. That doesn't mean much, but it looks good. Now, I'm going to find your card by feeling for the fingerprints on there. It feels like a Butox. No. Did you know that black ink is heavier than red ink?
No, I didn't.
It feels like a heavy card. It's a red one. It's a club. It's above a 7. It's the 3 of diamonds. Is that right? Do you mind if I peek?
No.
3 of hearts.
Yes.
Now watch this. Put your hand on the top of the deck. Just put your whole hand on the... Don't let anything come or go. This is going to kill you. The 3 of hearts. Now leave that hand where it is. With your other hand, take this top piece as a receipt and turn that face up. Open, or just lift that hand. Watch this. Now would you pull that 3 of hearts out and look at that? And that is the same card.
Yes, it is.
Well, hot damn.
It worked.
That's what they do in the bar.
Yes.
Well, hot damn.
Well, let me do another one. This is fun.
Oh.
You do entertain people,
Oh,
don't you?
sure. I do things you wouldn't believe. Here's one I think is very interesting. one's not made right. Maybe it goes this way. See, these things have grain to them. They only work certain ways. And I'm doing it against the grain now, as a matter of fact. Now take those home and put them on the handlebars of your bike. Ladies and gentlemen, my impression of a Sears and Roebuck air conditioner.
No reason to waste good napkins. No.
Boy, those things are good. They're bland, but they're good.
And of course, the first question is, where do they go?
Well, they go in here. And they go round and round and round. Ho, 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 ho.
Craziness with your magic.
Why does he laugh when I do these things? You know, you've never been to the bar, have you? That's why you're laughing. These things are new to you.
No, I'm laughing, and I've seen it 4 times.
Well, people around here tell me you're not well anyway. You may... What do you do for enjoyment?
I'd like to do another card trick with you.
Oh, another card trick. Here's something that I think is very unique. The joker. Now, if I place this joker on the top of the deck, well, let's put it in the middle of the deck. Then if I just wiggle that a little bit, it comes back up to the top. Now, that's no big trick because you say there may be 2 jokers in the deck. But let's try for 3 jokers. See? Now there's 3 jokers. As a matter of fact, this whole deck is composed of jokers. Now that looks like magic, doesn't it? Stay. But there are many, many jokers in this deck. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. I mean, I could do this all day long if I wanted to, but I don't particularly want to. But see, they all comprise of jokers. See? Are you sold?
Oh, yes.
And I bet you know what the ending to this trick is. Now, that would bring thunderous applause at the bar. But,
I want to...
wait a minute. No cards, just a pleasure trick.
I want to participate in another one.
Okay. Let's see.
They're enjoying it in the studio.
That lady back there is laughing.
Isn't that what she's supposed to do?
Oh, yes. Have you ever been to the bar, young lady? Well, if you do, sit on the hot seat, because you'd add quite a bit to the program. Now, young lady, just sit where you are. There's a lady sitting in the studio about 30 feet from me. Ma'am, answer me truthfully. Do you have any idea what I'm about to do? Do you believe in mind reading? You do. There is no way that this will not fail. I have here a blank piece of paper and a small pencil. Young lady, if you believe in mind reading, I want you to concentrate on your... Now, do you live in Atlanta? Everyone in Atlanta, as a matter of fact, everyone in the United States has a 7-digit phone number. I want you, if you do believe in mind reading, to concentrate on your 7-digit phone number. Oh, she does believe in mind reading. Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Tom.
Yes. Oh, I forgot you were here.
Is one of your role models Red Skelton?
I love Red Skelton. I try not to copy Red Skelton, but I watched him for many, many years when he had his old CBS program, and I think he is extremely funny. One of my favorite Red Skelton jokes is, this elephant walks up to a hippopotamus and he says, "Can you imagine having a cold with a nose like that?" And the hippopotamus said, "Have you ever had a chapped lip?" You have to have a lot of people here.
The studio's laughing.
Yes, I'm sure Red Skelton got a lot of that right there. Now, for those that, do you use sight savers?
No.
Oh, these things, or whatever happens, I carry these with me all the time. Please excuse me. I got it. There. Now, getting back to your question.
I realize you don't copy Red Skelton, but you do find him, and who else?
Oh,
Milton
Red
Berle?
Skelton.
Who else are your role models?
My first real, the person that I studied a lot was Jonathan Winters. I think Jonathan Winters is a very clever person. I remember trying to do this, light a match with one hand, but in a minute this whole thing may blow up because they put the striking surface on the reverse side now. Oh. Okay. Jonathan Winters was a very funny person, is still a very funny person. Does he have a gun?
No.
Oh, there was someone I felt behind me, and I...
That's our producer.
That's the producer?
Yeah.
He was selling buttons in the front room when I walked in. How do I look?
Lovely.
No, Red Skelton is he is what I don't know what a genius is. A lot of people call, like, Red Skelton a comedic genius or Johnny Carson a genius. I really don't have a definition for genius, but Red Skelton is pretty close. I saw Red Skelton at the Fox Theater about 1.5 years ago, and I was just amazed. For 1.5 hours, he just had that audience in tears. And getting back to props and why I don't work illusions and with large equipment, he worked with nothing but a stool and a felt hat. And he had people just crying with laughter.
Who are the best magicians in the past and present?
Well, Freddie Zizzo's a good one. And then there's another one.
Well known.
Doug Henning's a good friend of mine. Doug Henning has done a lot for magic. Doug Henning has taken the magician from the Tales image to more of the modern day, you know, because he works in a t-shirt and jeans and so forth. Doug is very good. Most of the magicians, David Copperfield is one of the new sensations. I think David does a wonderful show. He uses a lot of productions and choreography and so forth, which is an excellent idea. I think the people who are successful are the people who have their own ideas. Doug Henning changed magic and he became popular. David Copperfield did magic in a complete different form without copying Doug Henning, and he was very popular. I am going to copy people for the rest of my life, so that's probably why I'll never be popular.
Do you have a favorite card trick?
Favorite card trick? Oh, I just thought of a joke, but I was sure I'm not going to do that one. Boy, there's so many things that you are going to miss here today. Oh, your pizza's ready. Okay, can you get a focus on this? You got a focus on this? They're going. Look, R2D2. No, this is one. Now, this is a perfect example of sleight of hand. Name any 4 of a kind. Jacks, 3s, 9s, aces, queens, any 4 of a kind.
Kings.
And let's hope that one of the kings I dropped, one of the cards I dropped earlier is not a king, because I'll be down on the floor trying to find it. Hopefully the 4 kings are still in the deck. 1, 2, 3, they are. Now these have to be in a certain order. Diamonds, clubs, hearts, and spades. Wait, diamonds, clubs, hearts, spades. Now we're only using the 4 kings for this trick and 10 little fingies. Now, watch. Oh wait, we don't need that one. I need the kings, not anything else. Okay, the 4 kings, they're not in the right order. Here we go. This will be a tight shot, people. The king of spades, the king of hearts, the king of clubs, and the king of diamonds. The 4 kings, only the 4 kings. Now, have you ever heard that a magician can put something in his hand so that you cannot see it? Watch this. No. We'll place 3 kings on the pad here. Now, the leader card is always the spade. If you had picked 9s, the 9 of spades would have been the leader card. If you had picked jacks, the jack of spades. In this case, the king of spades is the leader card, and that goes on the pad. Now, the second king I'm going to place in my right hand so you cannot see it. Now, tell me if and when you can see that card. Do you see that card?
No.
Do you see the shadow of the duck on the floor?
Yes.
You don't see that king?
No.
I'll add it to this one.
Hey.
Now we have 2 kings left. We have the king of clubs and the king of diamonds. Clubs and diamonds. Over here we have the hearts and the spades. 4 kings. Hearts and spades. I'll do this again. Hearts and spades, clubs and diamonds. The third king goes in my hand so you cannot see it, and I'll add it to these other 2. So we have 3 kings on the table. This is the king of diamonds. These 3 go on the pad right here. The king of diamonds goes in my right hand just as the others did. Now, some people think I leave it on the top of the deck. It is not on the top of the deck. It is in my hand. Now it's along with these other 3. Now, that's one of my favorite tricks. Obviously not one of the crew's favorite tricks. See what I mean? I just did something that took me about 4 years of practice, and what did they laugh at? They laughed at all that. That's why I don't do very many serious tricks at all.
Do you practice anymore? Do you
That's
add
a
new
weird.
tricks to your
That's a weird
repertoire?
word. Practice. When you go to a doctor and you say, "Is this doctor practicing?" Practice is a funny word because that would assume that you were still working on what you were trying to achieve. Well, I actually practice every day while doing the Well, if I knew I had these capabilities, I would have done illusions. Here, would you take my hand, please? Thank you.
You don't levitate people. You don't do illusions.
I can make an elephant float.
Can you?
Yes, you take a big glass and 3 scoops ice cream, an elephant, and some 7-Up.
Uh-huh. You don't do you don't do anything flashy, shall we say.
Oh, I sure do.
Do you? If you'll pardon
Don't ask for any more card tricks.
If you'll pardon the expression, you keep everything pretty close to the chest, and you relate to your audience. And
You keep everything pretty close to the chest, too, don't you?
Make people laugh. What if you have had a bad night?
It's not nice to point.
What has gone wrong? I'm sorry.
The microphone went out one night.
Did it?
Yeah.
You
Well, the
must.
producer's over there going, what the hell?
You generally enjoy.
Is this
all
hard to
the-
interview me?
No.
Oh, I would find it extremely difficult because I just keep going off on different tangents.
Well, I'm very persistent.
Oh.
You generally must enjoy all 4 hours of the show. You do
Yes.
succeed in making people laugh. You do complete tricks that have taken you years of practice.
I'm getting really tired of standing. Do you mind if I sit for a minute?
That's all right.
Um,
Not Tom.
There are
This is
some
my
things
last
that I've.
question.
There are some things that I've done. This is what they call social and impromptu.
Do you want to do anything else besides make people laugh every night, do a 4-hour show, do the tricks you've practiced all your life?
Yes, I'd like to go to WTBS and get them some facilities so they don't have to jack a 3-inch table up 4 foot off the ground.
Tom Mullica, magician, madman, musician.
Ted Turner, will you buy some new tables?
Thank you, Tom.